Alright, so you want to make a scene like that, and this is very simple scene. So I will break down the steps before we jump into the actual project. So first, I will break down what are the main components. Okay. So what we have here is the differentially extruded rocks, and then this is just like one unit, and then we are going to make several copies of that unit in a circle. And this is a cube, and this cube is going to act like a water. You can see the cube level, top level is below these rocks but covering the bottom. And once you make that cube into transparent, you will see the bottom. So I put few of the copies of this rock on the bottom in a tilted way. So you may see a small gap, but when we come to the scene camera setup like this, you won't see the gap. And then you see these rocks are not like a real rock, it's like a man-made concrete. So we move the camera a little bit further into this area close to the water level, so that you won't see these imperfections, you will see only this region. And for the sky we'll add some forest texture like this, so you will see the forest texture is on the background, and here is the pond reflecting that forest, and these rocks actually make a perfect environment. So you can make the watercolor into like green if you think that environment has algae in it, or little bit of blue if you think there is copper, mercury kind of things in it. Excuse me about the plain sound. And you can even make it transparent if you think that water is pure and clean. Maybe it has some running water. So we added the plane, and then we going to split that plane into several phases, so that you will be able to extrude them differentially. So first let's click new, so you get this, and then I would like to add few points. So distribute points on faces, let's go that, and then drop it in here. And then I would make that as a Poisson disk, so that it's not like perfect polygons, but it will be like rock kind of things. So keep the density max as 1, keep the density minimum, density factor as 1, and the density minimum as 0. Here we are going to add a value. So we are giving a constant value, something like that. So let's make that value like 45. I think is good. I already experimented with several numbers. So let's put that in the density max. Okay, so you see how many points popping up, and we'll use the same value later for resampling the curves, but for now that's good enough. So we can go, and then so move this little bit away, and then set point radius node, because this radius is too big. Set point radius, and then let's put it there. And this is still big, so I'll put something like 0.01. Should be good enough. So you see the points gone smaller, so which is fine. And then let's go add instance on points node, maybe here. Instance on points, and then let's leave it in between these two. So on the instance on points, I would keep the settings as it is, but I will add a curved line to as an instance. let's put the curve line as instance. So, don't run like that. No. Okay, there. So that's the problem of having less space. So let's make some space. Alright. And then I will add a resample curve somewhere in between. And then I will set that to 1 instead of 10, the count number. So let's see how that looks. It doesn't look right now, so probably because we still have to realize the instances. I think yes. So let's realize the instance somewhere here. And then drop it in between, and then make sure you check realize all. That should be 0, should be good enough. Before that, I think it's a good idea to bring a separate line of geometry here from the original geometry. So curve to mesh, mesh to curve. So let's bring it here, mesh to curve, and then bring here, and then a sample curve. And then we'll bring the same value here because that's very important to bring the same value to the count. And then we are going to join this using a join geometry. So let's somewhere go here. And then let's put that here. Alright, so now you see. So let's still go. So let's fill the curve. Not fill a curve, fill curve. Oh, there you go. So now you see that. So that's mainly because we did fill the curve. Okay. So this is what I actually meant, like we are splitting the faces of the plane into different things, and then later this can be individually extruded in z-axis. So before that I think I'll add a dual mesh. Kind of get to that shape. So now you can see the shape of the individual faces change. So now we need to extrude mesh. So now this is in like a 2D plane, right? So we want that to come in the Z direction. So I think I will probably put that in. And then let's go to extrude mesh. In there. Okay, you see that now it's all gone in same extent. So that's the issue. What I would do is first create a noise texture or gradient texture, so that the texture goes from one side low to other side high, and then we'll feed that in the offset of the extrude mesh. For example, here there is an offset, so now it's pretty much constant, all of them going full. So we'll like pretty much offset scale we will change based on the gradient texture. So first what I would like to add is a gradient texture by searching gradient texture and then drop it in here, and then you can add a color ramp to give some flexibility in your gradient, but for now I think this is a problem of space. Okay, so we'll go with the color into the gradient. So now you see this is having a different level of extrusion. So this is what I mean to say. So here I think pretty much this area is flat. There's no extrusion at all. So if you want, you can change this color ramp to see. No, it doesn't work. So probably I have to do add math node so that we can change a little bit of that and random value, so that will be the best option. So I will make it add math add node, so drop it in here. So now you see it's pretty much increasing everything. So one value coming from here, the other slot I can probably use for the random value node. So what I would do is get some space and maybe here, okay, random value node and drop it somewhere here and there. So now it's increasing, but the random value I will change the minimum to maximum value a little bit. For example, this is so high, so let's start with 0 is fine. I think this number probably I'll change to 0.2 meter. Oh, that's perfect. So you can see the gradient level of the solid rock. And so this is pretty much the basics of that. So you can see it's all extruded at different heights. That's what we want, and this will be the side of the pond. This area will be filled with water. Okay, so let's go by merge by distance node, and then drop it in there and put some very small value. I think that value is already cool. Yeah. And you make sure you still have some area on some extrusion here, so that it's not totally flat. So that is pretty much good. Let's go with the set material node. Okay. So you drop a set material node here, but we don't have any materials per se. So what you can do is you can either add an image texture to give a real rock appearance if you want. So all you have to do is go for an image texture and then add an image of your choice, rock image. But for me, I think you don't need to increase the geometry that much, so I will go to the materials tab here, add a material. So this is a principal BSDF shader. Principal BSDF shader, so you can give any color. Pretty much I want to give some chocolatey color, because that will match with the woods. I will pretty much go or let's go with pretty dark and call it black rock. And I think maybe I can go a little lighter. Okay, so it's brownish, but anyway, we can keep that name, it's fine. So let's go black rock, set that here, and I think pretty much we are done with this. Let's go to the z-axis and slightly tilt this to see which side. So this side is having the height and this side should be the interior of the pond. So remember that. So this side is the height. So what I'm going to do is scroll out, Shift D, duplicate, and then put it here, and then rotate on z-axis or z, and then put it somewhere here, and then grab a little bit of that. So and then shift select both, and then Shift D, and then we are going to move a little bit more, and then R, rotate Z, and then you can go for a bigger pond, but I think I will not increase the geometry that much. Now you see it's pretty much half of the pond is done, and now we select everything. I selected the light too. Okay, select everything, Shift D, R, Z, you can rotate this way, and then grab G, and it is something like that. Problem is we have not filled the interior, so I'll take one and Shift E and then move it somewhere like here, and then go to this axis. Maybe this axis, that's what better shows the angle, and then rotate on Y. So something like that, and then grab it to the lowest level, and then rotate on Y a little bit more. Yeah. So now if you go to the top, yeah. So Shift D, rotate Z. That's the middle of the pond. So now what I'm going to do is add a cube. So let's put the cube, so and then scale the cube, which should cover the interior. That's it. So grab it, that's all we need. So it should cover the entire pond. And then if you go to the x-axis and then scale Z and then down, so it should go below the rock level. So now if you look through, I think you can still reduce it a little bit. So let's go out of the camera angle, scale Z, and then I will still go down. Let's see how it looks. Oh, some rocks are visible outside, so scale Z, little bit of, yeah, that should be good enough. Because we are not going to use the real fluid, instead we are going to give this cube a material. So let's go to the top view, pick the camera, grab and then move it all the way here. Grab the camera in z-axis close to the water level. You want to move that little bit inside so that it doesn't show there. Perfect. Okay, now we want to set the materials and then environment. So here, so let's go with the cube selected. So now with the camera is selected, so we'll select the cube. So here we go for the material. So you can see I have taken a turquoise green color. So if you want to have the same color, here is the hex code, so you can copy this code and then you can use it. And then the background environmental texture was actually from Polyhaven. Okay, so before we even go there, so in the material part, so this is very important. So you select the cube and then give the color, and then you make the metallic to full extent 1, and then you make the roughness completely back to 0. Why we do it 0? That's why you get the reflection, because it's kind of no roughness. So the metallic and roughness gives the reflection, and this is for water refraction index. And the alpha I gave like 70% transparency, which means the full value is 1, so we give only 30% of alpha, which means you can see the immersed rocks. So that's what the speciality about reducing the alpha. So these three are very critical settings for the cube. So the cube you can label as water if you want, but I just get it as cube. And for the background environment, so let's go. So usually you will not see this option, so you have to click this yellow and then drag it back here. So but I'm not doing this again. Okay, not this, gotta be this one. So Pond Bridge Night 4K. So keep this name, that is the likely one I used. Yeah, there you go. So you get the background, and then this is because we selected this, so you don't have to select that. So now it is ready. So now you are in a timeline 1. So you can set a keyframe for your camera. So select your camera and then make these settings if you are in the right place. So that's but depending on how you copy pasted these rocks, you may have to change, but this is how I did. So this value may not work for you, but this is pretty much for you to show how the animation was done. So for example, the X rotation was this much, no Y rotation, Z was actually minus, so that is camera is looking on the left side. And then I have like 360 frames. So I go to so after making all these changes, press I so that it becomes yellow. Yellow means the keyframe is set, and then you go to the last frame 360, and then you change the camera rotation on Z. Earlier it was minus 19, it's something 51, so it makes a round like this, and then make a keyframe so that you see a yellow dot here. And then you can go to EV. This works well in EV, and then I keep the settings 6 and 12, which works good. And then I go to the render tab here, so I make sure it has 360 frames, and then I make sure it's 30 fps, and this is a lock aspect ratio I put here. And then also I choose a folder where I want to save, and also I give the file name, so that will be displayed here. And I want to switch this to media type to video, and then I go to the encoding tab, and then I usually it will be like by default it will show Mastroca, but I put in MPG4, and then I never change anything else, so it will be like H264 for QuickTime Kodak, and this is a 8 color bit which is compatible with most systems. The other thing I change is quality of output, so it will be usually in medium quality, so I put in high quality. And then there is no audio. If you want, you can put a music and then mix audio with that, so that's fine. And then I go for render the animation. So in the EV it goes something like 30 minutes in my system, but if you have a high-end system it should be like just like that. It should go like 5 minutes, maybe lesser than 5 minutes. So in the cube materials, so now it is in turquoise, right? So that is giving the greenish color, but sometimes I change the turquoise to somewhere clear white, so in that case it will look like a clear water, but it will reflect the real color that was in the HDRI. So the blue color actually coming from the HDRI. So you'll see both videos, and also you can, in the environment, you can change the strength to 0.5 or 0.3, or if you want darker, you can still go to 0.2. So I hope you learned something. You will follow the tutorial, and then I hope you make this scene as it is. If any questions, ask me in the comment section.